Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Citizens of Lorcana podcast, a podcast where we invite you to be part of their world. Today, we have a special episode whose time has come sooner than I would have guessed. So, without further ado, let's jump into the episode. Hey, everyone, welcome to another week. If you're wondering why we didn't put out an episode last week, there's a very good reason. I just simply wasn't ready to record it. So I'm just going to cut to the chase here. James and I, we said from day one, if the day ever came where we weren't having fun, we'd end our podcast. I'm probably going to cry, okay? And that day has come. For several months, I've been dragging my feet to get behind the microphone and record. I keep waiting for that moment of inspiration to hit me where I'm all in and ready to podcast again. And yes, there are spurts of motivation. James can tell you it's been like a roller coaster, but the overall trajectory has been down. And my level of fun is nearing zero. Not that, I don't appreciate everything that has, I don't, it's not like I don't appreciate the community. Like that much I really appreciate, but the act of creating content has become like a job now. And poor James has been on this roller coaster with me, always supporting whatever I choose to do, for which I'm extremely grateful. But James, how are you feeling with all this?
I think I went through all the stages of grief. Except for
Yeah,
I was never angry at you. But I did message you last week that I'm kind of in denial that it's ending. Uh,
yeah,
but I am feeling okay. I am not quite to the level of zero that you are, but my meter has been definitely running much lower than it has ever in the last 2 years. And I don't know if that's just a you know, based on what was going on with the lack of news or whatever. But I'm still having fun playing the game. I'm still having fun going every week to the shop. I'm still having fun building decks and having them not work and going and getting someone else's and playing that instead. Um, but creating, like you said, creating content has gotten to be just not something that has brought me a whole lot of joy at in thinking about it, in planning for it. When we sit down and we chat, I'm always having a great time chatting with
right?
you.
Like right now.
Yeah, but every other time when I'm like right the day before, I'm like, are we doing a podcast this week?
I know.
You know, um, so that's basic. That's my basics of how I'm feeling. I still feel like I have things to say, and I still want to talk about Lorcana. So I don't think I'm going
Yeah.
to leave the content creation space entirely, but I may take a short break and then go see if anyone like needs a guest on a podcast a few times here or there. Go join some Twitch streams, or hey, you know what? See if anyone wants to try me out casting some games because I'd like to try that out. I haven't been able to do that very much,
Heck yeah.
so I want to
Your
I want to try
Wednesdays
some
are going to
things.
be open.
So I want to try some things, but I think that's basically it. It's like I'm ready for a break and to recharge my batteries, hopefully.
Yeah, for me, I know 100% what it is. And I had mentioned earlier this year how I decided that I was going to adult this year and work a second job. So I've been working 7 days a week basically since the beginning of the year. Take a weekend off here and there to go see my kids up in Idaho. But it's that's definitely been draining and it's been making it hard to engage with the game, period. So and I've got I mean I've if I want to pay down my all my bills, which I'm hoping to do, it's gonna be until basically the start of next year. So that's a long time.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so if it looks like I'm reading off a screen here, it's because, or if it sounds like I'm reading off a screen, it's because I am. I want to make sure my words are precise. So, first of all, this has been a journey of a lifetime. It's really crazy. If you had told me 3 years ago that I'd be making a consistent podcast for 2+ years about a card game, I wouldn't have believed you. I mean, because I tried in the past. I'm a chiropractor. I think people might know that. I tried making a podcast about chiropractic and I may have done it for 3 weeks. Um, but this whole journey has been nothing short of magical. And I think it all starts and ends with the community. When I first heard about Lorcana, I craved to connect to the greater Lorcana community. And at first, I mean, I'm talking about when it was first announced in, the three big articles or whatever, and Polygon, whatever. Um, that was before D23 in 2022. So at first, it was on Reddit because that's where I spent most of my time at that time. I didn't know what Discord was, but I quickly discovered Discord, which was life changing. And I'm not even exaggerating. That was life changing. I made so many friends and so many opportunities because of Discord. But my first Lorcana friend was Levrim, who was a commentator on the Glimmer Gang podcast, and he also does lore videos. We became like instant friends, and that was just the first of many. When we finally joined the Lorcana HQ, I formed the foundation of friendships which last to this day, including James. And again, this whole thing started with community. Along the way, I met incredible people from my online friends to my friends at my local game store to my online friends I've met in real life. Um, Everyone in this community is lovely. And here, at the end of it all, we have you, our faithful audience. Sorry. You've downloaded our podcast week after week for 2+ years. Sorry. Okay. I know you don't. I know I don't know the great majority of you personally, but I do feel like I know most of you from the time we spent together. Okay. Every week behind the microphone, I picture you. I picture what you want to hear about, what questions you would ask our guest, um, how you can be better at this game. We all love. Okay. So losing you is by far the hardest part of all this. So I hope you all know how important you are to James and I. James, is there anything you want to add about our community?
Uh, just that it's been awesome. It's been awesome getting to know people, getting reactions from people, knowing people are listening, even though like when we're doing this, it's hard to think about the fact that there are people out there. We kind of just do it in this bubble, and we know that there are people out there, but we don't do it live, so we don't really get that instant reaction. So, listening numbers is like, yeah, it's just numbers. But when we go to places and people talk to us about how
Yeah.
they've heard it or whatever, and this is an amazing story that I just got just this week. There was a guy who played at our store when I first started playing at Kingslayer named Moose. That's all I knew him as was Moose. He played for like the first two sets roughly, and then disappeared. Didn't see him again. Haven't seen him at all. He posted on the Discord in the Kingslayer Discord just this last week, and he's like, "Hey guys, how's Lorcana doing? You haven't been around in a while." I'm like, "Hey, Moose, it's been a while," and he's like, "Yeah, it has been." He's like, "But you know what? I've been listening to your podcast ever since because that was how I kept up on Lorcana news." And I'm like, "Man, that is
Wow.
so cool." And it's like for all the mooses out there who just listen to us to get the news and we don't ever hear about, thank you so much for listening. It means the world to us that you are out there listening and watching.
Oh yeah, by far. Like when we go to regional tournaments like the Vegas DLC or the NACC, having people come up to us and tell us how much they appreciate our podcast, like that is the highlight
Yeah.
um, of the event. As much as I love playing the game, um, and the thing that people always say is they're like, it's like we're just talking with friends. That's what I love about it.
Exactly. And that's what we always wanted it to be. We always wanted it to be just us talking about the game, that we love it. We talk about every aspect of it that we could. And of course, the biggest part of that is the people that are we play with, play against, we talk to, all of that. That's the biggest part.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's great.
Okay, so let's talk about what this is not. Like, this is not us quitting because we feel in any way shafted by Ravensburger. Like, I know sometimes when content creators quit, some people are like, well, it's because Ravensburger is the greatest. That's not it. And it's not because we're the North American content creators. Like, my every interaction with Ravensburger has been nothing short of delightful. I remember the first time I received a DM from the official Lorcana Discord or sorry, Twitter account. Man, it was just like this magical feeling like they know me, like they recognize me. Um and then when they followed me, again, same thing. And again, when Steve Warner followed me and DM'd me on Twitter, I still remember he's like, I was like, is this the Steve Warner? He's like, it is. It's like, and he's like, and I've heard a lot about you because they were passing my memes around. And then again at Gamma when we met Steve, Ryan, Philip, and Stefan, and so many more. And again at Gen Con when we met Rochelle and Shane Smith and Sophie. And again when we were given the opportunity to reveal cards for, several sets. And again when we met Matt Ing and Shane Hartley. I've never had a negative interaction with any member of Ravensburger, and I'm always impressed at the sheer love that everyone has for the game. Like Disney Lorcana was created by people who are very passionate about building the best game and community possible, and we're very fortunate for that. James, anything to add about Ravensburger?
100% what you said. I feel like I have been treated very well by Ravensburger over the 2 years. You know, there's been a lot. I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard very much of the talk about the whole North America versus Europe, and could care less unless they're a content creator. So I'm not
Yeah.
really going to talk about that. But what I will say is that you are correct. Every single interaction with a Ravensburger employee has been amazing because they're so dedicated to it. And I will again another story that's recent. On the morning of the release of Arcasia's Island, I went down to downtown Disney like I have been for every release, I think, except for the very first one because I couldn't get off of work. And I get there like at 6:30, and who walks up like 5 minutes after I get there? But three members of the Lorcana world that work
Wow.
on it, and this is Naomi, who we've talked about before,
Sure.
who's in brand, product manager in I think in the brand or brand manager, something like that. But she was there, and John in marketing, and then the guy who was on the panel at D23 that works at Disney, not at Ravensburger, but at Disney, Brent, who is a executive creative director of Imagineering.
Wow.
They
That
were
is so
all
cool.
there at 6:30 in the morning to basically be there to pick up cards and get that Anna promo that was there and just see how things went. And they were handing out Snow White promos, and we were talking about like how they decide things and for like play mats and butt deck boxes and whatnot. And Naomi's was like, well, we just pick the things that we like basically. And then she asked me, she's like, hey, is there any art that you would have liked to be a playmat or a deck box? And I could not think of anything. So I'm hoping this gets to her eventually in some way, because hopefully someone at Ravensburger is listening. But Naomi, something with Goofy on it, please. I would like a Goofy playmat.
How
Now,
did you not think of that? Or Olaf?
I how
So
did I
those are your
or Olaf?
two.
Olaf, I'm fine with an Elsa. I got a Frozen playmat. I'm okay. Olaf would be awesome, but um I think we need a Goofy, and there's been a few really good ones. I mean, I was thinking about it, and I'm like the Musketeer. That would be an awesome playmat. Uh, the Inventor one where he's hanging off the ship, or the latest one, the what is it, the Extreme Sports, or there's so many good ones. But honestly, make a new, like I've been asking for it for a long time. The Goofy fishing card.
Oh yeah.
As soon as you make the Goofy fishing card, that had better be a playmat. That's all I'm saying. So
I I think you've been asking for the goofy fishing card as long as Liam's been asking for Powerline.
right? And let's give us power. Let's give us some power line too. But no, I want a Goofy playmat, Naomi. So let's make it happen. But that's just the thing is like this. The interactions with Ravensburger has been where I can feel comfortable rambling on about that for a minute, and just like it's just like talking to people who love the same thing I do, and who are willing to go through again getting up at 6:30 in the morning when they didn't have to. You know,
Yeah.
they didn't have to get up that early. They could have waited and just gotten it wherever they get it normally, but they did. So I'm pretty happy about that. And I say, I think it's in good hands. It's just, we'll see what happens in the future.
Yep. And it's not just the big names that we always hear about too. Like when we were at D23, just talking to the people working the booth there. I mean, and when we were at NACC playing games with the devs. I mean, not Steve, not Ryan, but the other devs. Like everybody was super passionate about the game. So that's one thing that I love about Lorcana is it's made and handled by people who care about the game. And And that's not to say that you and I haven't had our, you know, areas of improvements that we think Ravensburger could have had along the way. Like, we're not trying to say that Ravensburger has done everything perfectly, but the thing that they have done is when those issues have come up, they've always addressed it. Even if it's, a couple months down the road, they've always done well at listening and responding to the community. So,
Indeed.
um, I just had this thought when was preparing for this. It's not an outline at all, but I remember back at Gamma, James, you were in your own room because Beth was with you, but Liam of the Lumineers and I, we were sitting like we shared a room. And I remember we stayed up till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And James, that I'm not somebody that stays up late.
So yeah, so for everyone else, imagine you stayed up till dawn, and the similar. That's Jared's 1 a.m.
Yep. I'm usually in bed and asleep by like 10:30. So I just remember us staying awake right then. And back then, like there was no big content creators. It was Jaunty and it was um Lorcana cast and uh and that was pretty much it. But I remember we sat up and we were talking about how cool it was that we got to make Lorcana and how we were sitting at the tip of the iceberg. Sorry, that we got to make Lorcana content. And that we were sitting at the tip of the iceberg and how we felt is so important to set a positive tone for the community. And I feel like, I mean, I'm not going to say that the community is 100% positive, but I feel like we really did establish a strong foundation of the Lorcana community just being a welcoming and accepting community. So I think mission accomplished on that front.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so I thought it could be fun in our last episode to share some of the highlights of our journey. Let's start with overall favorite moment. James, do you have an overall favorite moment?
Are we talking about like as the citizens of Lorcana?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you and I probably are both going to say the same thing, and it's Gamma.
Yeah.
I mean, how could it not be Gamma where we were just like you said, we were right there at the tip of the point where the game was finally played. We got to see real cards. We got to play with real cards. We got to talk to the people who made the game. We just got to be in that environment for 3 days, and it was amazing.
And we even knew at the time that we would never have access like that again because nobody was swarming Ryan, nobody was swarming Steve, and everybody else there. Like we were legit just able to hang out with them, and they were excited to have us there too because, for those who don't know what Gamma is, that's mostly just business owners coming to check out what different game developers have coming up throughout the year. But it's really cool to connect with everybody on that front. And I would agree, but I'm gonna choose a different one. And you weren't there for this one, and I know I've talked about it a lot, but Gen Con, Gen Con, when we hosted the Citizens of Lorcana meetup, it was just a wild idea. And at the time, I was DMing the social media person behind the Gen Con account because she was excited to try out the game. And I told her, I was like, yeah, we're thinking of holding a meetup. And she's like, I can help you get a room. I can help you get a room and get on the roster. And so we had an official like Lorcana meetup and you could
On the
buy
schedule
tickets.
in an official room.
Yes, on the schedule and you could buy tickets for it. Well, I mean, they were free, but you could get tickets for it through the Gen Con website. And the basic idea behind this was our first time getting hands on cards. So we're like, yeah, let's just meet up. We'll trade cards. Like it's just gonna be a fun, good time. But little did we know that Ryan, Steve, and Rochelle showed up. And I'll never forget how everybody like clapped for like 2 or 3 minutes. Goosebumps. And um, they didn't just like make an entrance, they stayed. And I watched them go from table to table to table and just talk to everybody who was there. And for me, that set the tone for Ravensburger's interaction with the community. And it's been like that ever since. I mean, even up until what you're talking about, they were there. Like you said, they didn't have to be there at 6:30 in the morning to get the latest set, but they were there because they wanted to be a part of that zeitgeist.
Yeah. Yep. Still bummed.
Good memory.
Still bummed I missed Gen Con.
All right. So, How about favorite moment interacting with a fan or fans of the show?
Oh, I mean, this one's too hard. There were so many good moments. Um, but I think one of the best ones was at the NACC when I sat down and was talking to him, and I was a little late because I had been watching the final, I think it was, and I was like a minute late to sit down. And he's like, "Oh, it's all right." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I'm like, "Here, let me give you this thing." And I gave him the ink token for Citizens Lorcana. And he was like, "Oh my god!" He's like, Totally, I should have recognized your voice. Your voice, I can hear it. It's like so. Just people that recognized us, that knew us by voice, and all that kind of stuff. Just being being able to again connect with the people who are listening to us was always a joy.
Yeah, I would have to go to the Vegas DLC. And a couple of them. Oliver, I'll shout out to Oliver if you're listening to this from Journey into Lorcana. He's the one that always does the trivia. But I had just come off like my first loss at the Vegas DLC, a little bummed, but he was like so excited, so much energy, so much enthusiasm, and that was really refreshing to me. And then um, when I was playing my last round, and there was the lady there from Montana, and I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, but she gave me that lore counter that she
Right.
custom made, and I mean, not that was it, but it was just really cool to meet with somebody who's like from Montana, and they're listening to us. So, but also when we were at the NACC, we were sitting down and there was a guy who came up behind us and uh we were sitting down watching and we were chatting with him about the show, like just recognized us. And those were the moments that made it all worth it. So, favorite moment actually playing Lorcana.
This one, I think I talked about it on a podcast once, but there was that moment where just realizing a line of play that came to you at the moment and just understanding that you leveled up at the game, and that all that practice and learning the cards and learning what basically learning how to play a TCG just coalesced in that one moment of like, oh, I can do this, and it's really cool, and it's awesome. But in second place is that one time that I got 8 lore off of Go-Go on a Chernobog.
That's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. I thought you were gonna say when you played with Steve and then he wrote on the card, "Be prepared."
That was Ryan that wrote that.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
right. Okay,
that was fun. No, that was great.
I could see Steve and Ryan doing that.
Yeah.
Um, gosh, like you said, so many. Um, I definitely think at the Vegas DLC that was such a roller coaster because that was my first like major competition. But I had a goal that I wanted to get 30 points because at 30 points, that was the maximum amount of tickets that you could get to try to get promos. And the last round came and I was at 23 points. So if I drew, I'd end up with 26. If I won, if I went 2-0, I'd get 30. And I was matched up against somebody playing Amethyst Steel. And my first game, I was on the play, so I won handily. Okay, so I won that one handily, but the second game, I was on the draw, and it was a very aggressive deck, and she got all the way up to like 16, 17 lore before I just felt like I was slow. I was about to turn the corner, like at any time I was going to turn the corner and take control of the game. And for a brief second there, I thought maybe I just wasn't going to make it, but I did. Like I was able to clear her board, and then I got Elsa Fifth Spirit. So she played something on the board the next turn. I was able to clear with Elsa. I ended up going 2-0. And of course, like I felt bad because I denied her the opportunity of getting 30 points. But I was also just like really proud that I was able to get 30 points and snag those promos. That was definitely one of the coolest moments that I had playing the game. And then I also have to throw in ACC. That was the first time I played that much draft, and it was actually just a lot of fun. Okay, let's bring it back to the podcast. Do you have a favorite guest that we've had on?
Absolutely not. Because then if it's someone that has their own podcast, then they'll be like, you didn't pick me. No, but honestly, I'm going to say because it's the best choice again to so I don't play favorites, and this one I think is an obvious choice, and it's Ryan. Um, just because we got to have Ryan on the podcast. I mean, Steve too. It's kind of a combo, but they were on different ones. So I'm going to pick Ryan this time, and I'll pick Steve the next time.
Oh,
But
don't
so,
worry, I'll pick Steve.
but having Ryan on and just being able to ask him questions and having his infectious enthusiasm for the game on is always just so much fun. And everyone else, obviously, uh,
Yeah.
all the guests we had on were amazing, and we loved having you all on. And if we kept going, we would probably have you all back on a second time uh, over the course of the podcast life. So, but yeah, I'm gonna pick Ryan.
Um, yeah, I love the episode with Ryan. I also love the episode with Steve just because he was my first connection, like to Ravensburger that I really made. And that meant a lot to have him on. That was our first time having a Ravensburger employee on our podcast. This is, I think, the first time Steve even did like non like mainstream
Yeah.
press thing. Like the first time he came on a podcast, which was really cool. But I also have to say, just as a general group, I loved it whenever we had British people on the show. They just have the funnest sense of humor and they're just so lively. They always made the episode so entertaining. I think I even told you after one of them, I was like, we should have more British people on the episode on the podcast. I mean, the difficulty is the time difference
Yeah.
because we record at what it's 8:30 our time now. They're 8 hours ahead of us, so it's like 3 in the morning over there. So
Yeah.
it's tough, but we made it work. I think one time we even recorded at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, we woke up early for the German guys.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Oh yeah, we had Artem and Martin on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, we could go through all of our guests and we've had a who's who's of Lorcana players and content creators on here. It's like I said, it's been a magical journey. So
And artists. Getting art we got to had a few artists on too, and that's always been amazing. We wanted to get more on, but obviously, no time now.
yeah. Yeah. What about your favorite card reveal that we've done?
All right, this one is I think it's going to be obvious here. It's the one where Jared and Adara, against their better wishes and better judgment, allowed me to do something that I love doing, which is be dumb. And I did those stalling pictures before
My
the actual card
gosh.
reveal.
Oh yes, we did try to talk you out of that.
I was like, no, I get to do this. I get to do this for once. I get to do something super dumb.
No man. Just because I'm a sentimental guy, it has to be our first card reveal. Um, just because it was the first time, like, I guess in the first set they let a few content creators reveal a card, right?
I don't
But
know. I
okay.
thought it was all articles.
Yeah, I can't remember, but when we got the reveal, that was really like the first time they let content creators reveal cards. And so everybody in the community was so hyped, and we were so hyped, and we had a lot of people that watched our live stream, and um, it was magical. Like it felt like the culmination of everything that we'd been working for. Not only had we been acknowledged by Ravensburger, but we'd been given the opportunity to reveal a card. And I think at the end of the day, that's what most content creators just really strive for. Like that just is such an accomplishment because how many people who play card games can say that they have been able to reveal a card. And it's something that I'm forever grateful for. And going forward in life, when I meet new people and we play that, silly game, two truths and a lie, I have a pretty good, truth that people are going to think is a lie. I revealed cards for Disney Lorcana.
That is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What about anything else on your mind, James? Anything at all?
Oh boy, anything at all. Honestly, I just want to say that for all of those who don't know, um, Jared worked very hard on this podcast. He was the one. Basically, I showed up and talk. Jared did all the work. Um, and so he would put together the outline like 98% of the time. I would do like little bits here and there, add some things, but mainly it was Jared. Jared is the one who edits. Jared's the one who like downloads, edits, does all of that stuff. Um, like so I'm just the guy here to chat and have some fun, and uh, it's been an amazing journey. It's been great. I made a friend for life with Jared, and I mean we're gonna basically be trading little things when we're old, sitting around like, hey, you remember that time we played Gamma at 1 a.m. Played Steve at 1 a.m. at Gamma. Well, we'll mention that for years on end as a
Absolutely.
friend, like but it's just I just want to say that this is not over. The things are not over. The podcast is ending, but by no means is anything done. We're still going to be friends. We'll still be in the community. Jared's still going to have his Twitter account. He's still going to make memes, probably. I don't doubt, because he's very good at them, and they're fun. Um, but yeah, thanks, Jared, for letting me come on and letting me be a part of this thing for over 2 years now. It's been
Well, now it's my turn to gush about you. Like yeah, I just want to thank you for being here all this time. We were talking about this off the air. Like, how can you tell if your personality is going to jive with someone for 2+ years? Like, that's a big commitment.
yeah, weekly.
But you really can't tell, but you've made it like so easy. Like, it's just been so easy. And yeah, you're talking about how I do, the editing and coming up with the outline and stuff. But nobody would have listened if it was just me. Like, you bring the fun. So, but you are definitely one of the kindest people I know, and I really just can't imagine this podcast lasting as long as it did without your guiding hand. Because again, you're experienced in podcasting, and I had no idea what I was doing, but you were always there to help make sure that ran smoothly. When we recorded over Zoom, you always did the backup recording because mine half the time didn't download it. So, I mean, we probably have about half the episodes that we have now if it weren't for you. So, but most importantly, you're not just the world's greatest podcast co-host, you're also just a really great friend, and I'm proud of all that we've done over the past couple of years. And yes, if and when I ever do send out Christmas cards, you'll be on the list. But if not, you will be on the metaphorical Christmas card list, okay?
Indeed. I will never send out Christmas cards, but if I did, you also would be on the list.
Every Christmas, I'm like, I should do that this year.
I
Never.
never think I should do that because I know I will fail miserably.
And also, I think we would both be remiss if we didn't shout out Adara here. She was our third co-host. We really wish she could have been a bigger part of the show. The perspectives and insights that she brought to the show were priceless. But had she lived in Pacific time, maybe she would have been a regular co-host, but she lives in Central Time. Adara is an absolute pillar of this community, and has really helped set the overall positive tone in this community. Anything you'd like to add about Adara, James?
I think that you definitely hit the nail on the head. She's been a pillar of the community. She's been around again, just like us, since almost the very beginning.
Yeah.
Uh, she took over a lot of things, and as she calls herself the unofficial clerk. But I mean, honestly, she basically was the clerk for the longest time. If you needed an answer, Adara usually had it or knew who to ask to get it. Um, and she's just been a rock for the community, and anyone who ever interacts with her uh, is blessed to know her. So, and we were blessed that she was willing to come on and do the podcast semi regularly. And I'm still going to be trading. We have this thing. We both love collecting all of the different versions of things. So like the errata cards and the random foils, and we like having a complete set. So
Too much.
we trade amongst back and forth. We'll like I'm sending her an Ana promo and she's sending me an Ana foil, and just we don't even care. It's like we just send stuff. And um yeah, Adara is awesome.
Yep. Thanks, Adara. You the best. All right, so finally, I'm not 100% closing the door on the Citizens of Lorcana um, brand, I guess. You'll still find me on Twitter, and the day may come when we get the itch to get back into podcasting. I know James was talking a little bit about, earlier talking about a little bit about streaming, and not necessarily that you'll do that under Citizens of Lorcana, but you'll still see us around. And like I said, the day may come where we're like, you know what? I really miss that podcasting. But until then, keep calm and flounder on.
Ah,
Where was that catchphrase this whole time?
right? Come on. We had on the podcast outline for the longest time at the bottom was like sign offs, and then in parentheses said catchphrase, and we never came up with a catchphrase for the sign off. So there you go. We get
Oh,
it at the very end.
wait. Oh, I must have deleted
Yeah, you
that.
deleted it like weeks ago or months ago when you redid the outline one day.
Wait, I thought your catchphrase was, uh, what do you always say at the very end?
Oh, I have like a thing I say, yeah, where it's like, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
I thought that was the catchphrase.
Now that was just the goodbye, the catchphrase. So like on the Comic Con blog that we do at the very end, because it's super stupid and it's something that started in like 2011 or 12 whenever we started the podcast. We had this long conversation about shawarma because of the end scene in
Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah.
So at the end of every podcast, we yell "Go shawarma." It's dumb, but we've been doing it for like 12 or 13 years now. And so
Oh
that's
my
like a
gosh.
catchphrase at the end. And we never came up with one for this, but now it's keep calm and flounder on is now the Citizens of Lorcana catchphrase.
Apparently, we need to work on our communication. All right. Well, James, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Indeed.
And to everybody who listens to our podcast or watches on YouTube, it's been an absolute pleasure. And we'll still see you around.
And don't unsubscribe. Someday you may see something pop up. Just,
That's right.
don't unsubscribe. I mean, it just means you just won't see anything, but we'll still be, you never know. There you go.
You never know. Keep calm and flounder on.
There you go. Again,
Oh,
I gotta say the catchphrase too, and then you can do the count. Keep calm and flounder on. Uh, thank you all for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.
I already hit and record. Oh, keep calm and flounder on.
There you go.
Okay, do it again. Do it again.
Hmm. All right. I think that is it. So everybody, thank you all for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. Until then, keep calm and flounder on.
All right, now I can hit end.
Oh boy.